I'm Terryanne Chebet. I am an entrepreneur, founder of Kiara Organics, Color Digital, and CEO of Fanaka TV. And I'm at the current Country Lodge, and you're watching The Other Side of Me. Well, the first country I ever traveled to was Uganda. I was, I think, about 14 or 13 years old. And I was going for a youth camp with my church in Kitale. And we went by bus. It was far, but it was an amazing experience just to know or to feel that, you know, even as a little child, you could travel to another country. I loved it, and I loved the food. It was the first time I had groundnut sauce and on matoke. I loved it. If I could only keep 3 possessions, I would keep my foundation, makeup, a pair of flat shoes, and a pair of jeans, because they can take me anywhere. And I think they say give a girl a lipstick and she can conquer the world. So, my wardrobe is a tricky place. I have clothes, a lot of clothes, some of which I don't need. Not too many handbags, not too many shoes. I think I learned later on in my adult life that you don't need too many shoes and too many handbags. If you've got a few good quality ones, and you know, I mean, you only wear shoes Monday to Friday, so I don't have too many shoes, I don't have too many handbags, but I have more clothes than I should have. Nobody actually believes when I tell them about the kind of child that I was, and because they think, oh, you're such a bubbly girl, I was a very quiet child. I spent most of my time reading, and my mom says that half the time she wanted to beat me sometimes, like everybody else is outside playing. Everybody else is in the shamba, because I grew up in a farm, and she literally had to drag me out of the house. So I buried myself in books from when I was a little girl. So one of my best childhood memories was playing in the orange trees. My parents planted oranges, and we had a big farm that had so many trees, and we'd play hide and seek, and because I was so little, nobody used to find me. One thing I wish I knew before I got into the limelight was the amount of interest that your life generates, and sometimes maybe if I knew, I wouldn't have gotten into the kind of career that I did, but it baffles me, and it probably will continue to for a long time, how the things that you just do or say, and it's sometimes taken out of context, or you do something small and it suddenly becomes bigger than it should be. So those are some of the things that, I'm like, but then again, had I known, I probably wouldn't have, I've had this incredible career that I've had. So maybe just that's the downside. I wish I knew. Some of the lessons that I've learned being in the limelight is, you can keep part of most of your life private, and there's things that people don't need to know. Things in life that are still a mystery to me. I think love. I will never really understand how it is possible to love somebody so much, or love my children so much. When I had my older daughter for 12 years before I had the little one, and I constantly asked myself, will I love her the same way? Will I love her just as much? Is it possible to love 2 children, one more than the other? So this love fascinates me, and I think, the people I love the most, of course, are my children. So yeah, it's a mystery, and loving someone, a man, also that. I've made a lot of mistakes and buying things that I don't need. I think I could say handbags. When I was maybe a couple of years ago, I would buy so many bags that I didn't need at all. I remember sometime last year when I was, just decluttering and thinking, I've never carried this bag. I've had it in my house for 4 years. It's cost X amount of money. So I just, decided to stop all together for a long time. And yeah, I don't have many bags now. I think maybe I have between 5 and 10, and I love my bags. I'm happiest when I'm with my babies. They really blow my mind away. I love sitting with them. And now, because there's an older one and a younger one, I keep thinking, should I just move from my favorite chair? Because now the older one comes to sit here, then I'm carrying the other one. But I really, I'm very happy when I'm with both of them. And then I recently realized that I'm also very happy listening to Diamond's Kwangwaru song, and I just blast it on radio, and it makes me happy. I don't know why, but it's just like if someone calls me, my phone is connected to the car, and I always hang up if somebody calls me if that song is playing, because I just want to listen to it on blast, and yeah, that's a happy place for me. I don't have free time anymore. But when I do get time, I usually spend it with my children. But of course, sometimes as a mom, you just need your space. And when I do that, when I have that, then I go to the spa, or I get my nails done, and it's such a luxury to just have half an hour or 1 hour doing nothing else but experiencing that. So I've had, of course, naturally, many embarrassing moments, but the most embarrassing one recently, I was dancing in a club and my wig fell off. I was like, oh my God, no! So I was at Kiza and I can't remember what song was playing, and I just thought, oh my God, my wig is on the floor. And my friend, I was hanging out with a friend of mine, but she was so fast, it was back on my head in a matter of seconds. And I was just like, oh gosh, and I keep thinking somebody's gonna post a photo online. I'm like, oh God, I hope nobody saw it. She swears nobody saw it. So yeah, but that was really embarrassing. I had blonde hair and I hadn't combed it. I think I had matutas. It was just horrible. I want to learn many things. I always say when I retire, I'm going to open a restaurant. And I love cooking. But I really want to go to a proper cooking school, and when you come to my house, it's like coming to a hotel. So I really want. Although strange enough, earlier this year I said I want to learn Spanish and I want to learn Luo. I want to speak fluent Luo. So I've started learning, but I'm not there yet, and I think Luo is like the most beautiful language. So I dial the nanny's number the most because I'm constantly checking on my baby to find out how she's doing. But my older sister, apart from that, is the person I call all the time, like every day. And hers was the first number I actually had off-head, and now my brain has gone. I can't take any more numbers. I have maybe 3 that I know of it, but my sister is I call her constantly, my older sister, who's also my closest friend. My strongest personality trait, I think, is I'm hardworking. I've always been a hard worker from when I was young. I've worked hard at I try to give my best to everything that I do, and sometimes that can be difficult, but I constantly remind myself, is this the best? If I could live another moment like a child, adulting is a hoax. I just, sometimes I ask myself, I'm like, when did I grow up? And now I have responsibilities. Which I like, but sometimes I just wish I could be a child again, and everybody takes care of you. There's food on the table, your clothes are bought for you, you just play. I have mentors. I've been lucky to have people always in my career that have really gone out of their way to make sure I did well. I had opportunities. And they pushed me as well when they felt like I'm slacking. One of those people who has remained my mentor until now is Farida Karone. She was my boss at Citizen TV, and she's now the CS for Lands. And it fascinates me that no matter how busy she is now, she will pick her phone and call and just find out, how are you doing? you know, how's the new place you went to? And she'll give you even up to 10 minutes of her time, just, you know, giving you advice, finding out how you are, finding out how my children are. And I'm like, who am I to think I'm so busy, you know, for people who sometimes just, you know, want one or two words. So she has really taught me humility. You know, when I was a child, I used to think I would be, well, there was a time I wanted to be a teacher, and then I grew up, I wanted to be a lawyer. So lawyer is like the longest of my career dreams at the time. So I thought I was going to be a lawyer. And then at some point, I thought I was going to be a pastor. And I prayed about it for a long time. And sometimes I said, God, I don't know if I really want to be a pastor. But people around me think, you know, that at that time, you know, I was encouraged, you know, to even go into Bible school. And then I thought I would be a musician as well. So I never really thought I was going to be, you know, a TV personality, or never, until I think, because I wanted to be a TV producer, and that's actually my background, and that's what I was trained in. You know, I never thought I would ever end up as a TV presenter. And I remember I was at KBC, I didn't even have the right clothes. I was always in jeans and sports shoes because I was a producer and I was allowed to dress like that. And then one time, I used to live with my aunt in Buruburu. And I remember one time just leaving work, and I'm like, gosh, people are looking at me a lot more these days. I'm like, am I prettier? You know, like, I'm like, then it hit me later on. I'm like, oh my God, they recognize me. And it was a very interesting part of life at that point. And yeah, it's been very surprising, you know, throughout. And, you know, leaving KBC, going to work in advertising. I worked in advertising for some time. And then I went to, where did I work? CNBC. I would never have dreamt of working for a multinational media house. And that was the last time I applied for a job. That was in 2007. And after that, it's been, you know, it's a, you know, phone call. You know, we'd like you to come and join us. And it's been beautiful, and it's been surprising. I always say, and even on my Instagram profile, I say I'm God's favorite child. I've been lucky that I've done things that I didn't think that I would even ever manage to do. I'm proud of starting businesses. I'm proud of creating jobs, especially for young people. I really, really love young people and, you know, what they bring to the table. So I'm very proud that I've managed to give people jobs. And not only that, but, you know, show them that they can be anything, you know, they want to do. I've worked with some incredible young people, and I always say God brings people to your path for a reason. And, you know, some of them we've ended up working in the same place. Some have found really good jobs. Even though they leave and I'm like, oh my God, you know, the door is always open, please come back at some point. Some I can never afford them again. And I just, you know, it's been such a beautiful learning path for me. And I'm proud of my children. My older daughter's, you know, she's everything. She's athletic. She sings incredibly well. And I'm proud that I always said, and my dad, you know, would always tell us this, my inheritance, I'm not a rich man, but, you know, I'll give you the best education that money can buy. And I live by that, you know, as well. I will try to give my children the best that I can afford. And if I can't afford it, I'll work hard to make sure that, you know, I can afford that. So yes, those are the things that I'm proud of. I'm proud of my career as well. You know, the dip that I had when I lost my job could have been a moment of despair, you know, like, you know, so what next? You know, I'm at my prime, I've done a good job, but, you know, it happened and, you know, it had to happen. But, you know, now I look back and I'm like, it was necessary. You know, there's some lessons that I needed to learn, and if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't be, you know, where I am today. So it was in retrospect, it was necessary. Even though I was in so much pain, like I used to feel like my heart is actually painful. But I dealt with it, and I realized when I could actually talk to somebody about it without crying, then I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'm stronger now. and it took a while. It took such a long time, but it was necessary. And they say when God has a plan for you, He has a plan for you. And sometimes, if you're taking too long to see what His plan is, He'll pluck you out. It can be painful. Sometimes it can be smooth. So, He chose that I went through the painful way. But I needed to go through it. I did. It's made me, such a strong person. It's made me realize, life can just start afresh without... and I mean, as long as you have a place to sleep and you have food, tomorrow will take care of itself. I've learned that, and so yes, it was necessary. Thanks for hanging out with me on the other side of me here at the Karen Country Lodge.